Uh, so I want you to picture a very specific and honestly a very painful moment.
Oh, I think I know exactly where this is going.
Right. It is a moment of just quiet desperation. It happens in kitchens and on subway commutes all over the world. It's like 7 in the morning.
You're staring at your phone.
You are staring at your phone, and you have the last 2 letters locked in, E and R.
The dreaded ER trap.
It really is. That's it. Just E and R at the end. You're on, guess, 5 out of 6.
And your streak is completely on the line.
Exactly. Maybe you're at a 40-day streak, maybe 100 days, and your brain just totally empties.
A complete blank.
It's like a fog rolls in. You know there are a million words that fit, but you cannot think of a single one that actually works with the specific letters you have left. It is the classic Wordle stare.
It's completely universal experience. And honestly, it's where streaks go to die.
Yeah.
Because you aren't just looking for a word. You're looking for a needle in a haystack. But the haystack is also made of needles.
I mean, that is a terrifying mental image, but it is so accurate. Well, today we are going to fix that for you. We are doing a deep dive into a really fascinating tactical guide.
Specifically designed for those 5-letter words ending in ER.
Right. We've got a stack of research here that is essentially an ultimate cheat sheet. It breaks down over 150 words.
And the coolest part about this source material is the methodology.
Yes.
It strictly distinguishes between the words that have already been the solution, which means they are completely dead to us, and the fresh ones that are still waiting to be the answer.
And that distinction is just, it's everything.
It really is. Because this isn't just about memorizing a dictionary. It's a lesson in probability and pattern recognition.
Right.
If you are guessing words that have already won, you're fighting a battle you have already lost.
Yeah.
You were basically playing against ghosts.
Playing against ghosts. I love that phrasing, even if it hurts a little. I am so ready for this deep dive. I want to save my streak. But I also see some words on this list that are, well, let's just say they are weird.
Oh, there are definitely some oddities in there.
I'm excited to learn some weird new vocabulary. But let's start with the context. We kind of need to understand the beast before we can tame it.
Right. So Wordle itself, created back in 2021 by Josh Wardle.
Such a great origin story, too.
It really is.
Yeah.
It started as this sweet little personal project for his partner. Then it slowly moved into our morning routines, and suddenly it was a massive, viral, global obsession.
And then it gets bought by the New York Times, and now it is basically a mandatory part of the cultural breakfast.
It's fascinating how it integrated into daily life so seamlessly. It's a morning ritual for some, or a wind down after work for others.
Yeah.
But here is the critical thing. Because of that daily frequency, because we play it every single day, we have burned through hundreds and hundreds of solutions. From kazoo to the guava.
The game has a memory.
Exactly. The game remembers.
But the ER ending, that is the villain of today's deep dive. Why is it so uniquely hard? I feel like ER words should be the easy ones because they are literally everywhere.
And that right there is exactly the problem. It's the paradox of plenty.
Okay.
ER is an incredibly common ending in the English language. It does 2 massive structural jobs. First, it turns verbs into nouns.
Like bake to baker?
Right. And second, it turns adjectives into comparatives, like fast to faster.
So the pool of potential answers is just exponentially larger than with other endings.
Precisely. In a game of elimination, common is actually a massive trap. There are just way too many possibilities.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When you have an ending like ZZZA, well, it's probably pizza, you're done. You can move on with your day.
Right.
But ER, it could be absolutely anything. It could be a person, a thing, a descriptive word.
So let's get into the strategy. Because the biggest takeaway I got from looking at this data is that I have been completely wasting my guesses.
Oh, you and millions of others.
I really have. I have been guessing words that are essentially ghosts, like you said earlier. I'm typing in words that have already had their moment of glory years ago.
We call this the burn list.
Ah.
This is strategic avoidance 101. If a word has already been the solution, the chances of it appearing again are, at least according to the current rules of the game, 0.
0.
It is a total waste of turn. I mean, sure, you might get some yellow letters out of it, but you fundamentally cannot win the game with a burned word.
Okay, let's name and shame some of these ghosts then. Because I guarantee you use these. I definitely use these. I frankly feel a little attacked by this list.
Well, the data doesn't lie. Let's look at it. Some of the most common trap words that have already appeared include after, baker, and cover.
See, baker is a huge go-to for me.
It is for a lot of people.
It just feels so safe. It has common consonants. It has 2 vowels. It feels like a warm hug when you type it in.
It feels safe, but statistically, It is a terrible guess now. It has already been the answer. Enter is another massive one.
Oh, yeah. People love enter.
They love using enter as a starter because of the vowel density. But as a solution, it's gone. Later is gone. Never is gone. Paper. All gone.
Okay, what about power? I feel like I try power all the time when I'm stuck. It's just a strong, solid word.
Power has been used. So has water.
Wait, water is gone.
Water is completely burned.
That actually hurts my soul a little bit. Water feels like such a fundamental building block word. If I can't guess water, what is even the point?
If you are guessing water on turn 5, you are actively throwing the game. You are betting on a horse that already ran the race 2 years ago.
Wow. Okay, that is a hard truth to swallow. But what about the cool words? The fun ones? I always want the answer to be something exciting.
Like tiger.
Yes! Exactly like tiger. Please don't tell me tiger is gone.
I have bad news for you. Tiger is burned. Laser is burned.
Yeah.
Joker is burned. Even super is totally off the table.
Super is gone. Wow. Okay, so if I am sitting there and I type in Tiger, I am basically playing a memory game against the New York Times archive, and I am losing.
Precisely. You need to purge these from your mental list of potential solutions.
Right.
Now, to be fair, they can still be useful for eliminating letters. Like if you play tiger on turn 2 just because you really need to check for a T or a G, that's fine.
Okay, that makes sense.
But if you are on guess 5 and you are trying to actually win, don't guess lover. Don't guess writer. Don't guess rover.
It really requires a complete mindset shift. You have to stop playing the words you immediately know and start playing the words that are actually left.
Exactly.
Okay, so we know what not to do. We know to avoid the ghosts. Let's talk about how to actually crack the code when we are staring down those 2 letters. The source material gives us some really specific tips on letter frequency for ER words.
Right. So let's run a scenario. You have locked in the ER at the end. You have 3 blank spaces at the front. You need to attack those 3 slots aggressively.
So where do we start?
The data suggests prioritizing specific vowels first. You want to heavily check for A, E, and I.
Why those 3 specifically? Why not O or U?
It's all about linguistic structure. A, E, and I are the structural glue for most ER words in English.
Okay.
They bridge the consonants. Think about words like after or enter or even tiger. The core structure relies on those front vowels. O and U exist, of course, but statistically, you're going to strike gold with A, E, and I first.
Okay, and what about consonants? If I'm totally blindly guessing, what letters should my thumbs be reaching for?
You want to look for T, N, D, L, and S.
Okay, so T, N, D, L, S. Tundles.
Cundles.
Yeah, tundles. I know that is definitely not a real word, but it helps me remember it.
Well, tundles works perfectly as a mnemonic. These are the letters most likely to precede that ER ending.
Right.
Think about it. Ladder, dinner, adder, killer, passer. The English language just fundamentally loves to put those specific consonants right before an ER.
That actually makes total sense when you hear it out loud. It's like there is a gravitational pull between those specific letters and the ending.
Exactly. And there's one more major tactical tip the source emphasizes. Do not be afraid of repeated letters.
Oh man, the double letter nightmare. That is exactly where I always fail. I always forget about them.
It is only a nightmare if you don't look for it actively. Think about a word like refer.
Right.
Now, refer is actually on the use list, so do not guess it as the final answer, but it demonstrates the structural principle perfectly. R-E-F-E-R. 2 R's and 2 E's. When you are stuck, you have to ask yourself, could that E at the end also appear earlier in the word? Could the first letter be the exact same as the last letter?
That is genuinely great advice. I think I naturally just assume I need 5 completely different letters every time.
And that assumption will lose you the game more often than not.
Okay, let's get to the really good stuff. The fresh list. This is the absolute goldmine of the deep dive. These are words ending in ER that, according to our source, have never been the solution yet.
This is where you gain your actual tactical advantage. These are words that are completely valid. They're often quite common, actually, but they just haven't had their day in the sun yet.
And some of them are so incredibly obvious. I was reading this list before we started, and I kept saying out loud, but wait, that hasn't won yet.
Yeah, there are some surprises.
Like buyer. B-U-Y-E-R.
Buyer is a fantastic opening guess or second guess. It checks a vowel, checks the Y, which is always a tricky letter because it can act as a vowel or a consonant, and it is completely unused.
What about diver? That feels like a great summer word.
Diver is still fresh. Eater is another really good one. It is heavily vowel focused.
Eater feels like an absolute sheet toad with those vowels. E-A-T-E-R. I also saw fiver on the list. Like, hey, can you lend me a fiver?
Fiver works. And gluer.
Gluer, like people who use glue.
Exactly. Gluer. I agree, it looks a little strange written down, but it is a perfectly valid word, and more importantly, it is unused.
I feel like hiker is one I definitely should have thought of before. Everyone goes hiking.
Hiker is fully available. So are a lot of what I would broadly call action words. Descriptions of people doing things.
Yeah.
Biker, coder, dater.
Coder is a really good one for our tech listeners to keep in mind. And dater, just someone who dates.
Yes, someone who goes on dates. And let's not forget fryer, like a deep fryer.
Well, Friar's sneaky.
It is. That Y right in the middle is an absolute street killer if you aren't explicitly looking for it.
Oh, absolutely. The other category on this fresh list that really blew my mind was the comparative adjectives. We literally use these words every single day, and I never think to guess them.
This is a massive blind spot for most players. We are trained to think of nouns, objects we can hold in our hands. But adjectives ending in ER are a huge part of the remaining pool.
Right, like bluer. The sky is bluer today.
Unused.
Cuter. That puppy's cuter.
Totally unused.
Freer. Freer.
Double E. And it is unused. A perfect guess to test out that E placement we talked about earlier.
And slyer. Slyer. That feels like a word that would literally make me throw my phone across the room if it was the answer.
It is remarkably tricky because of the Y and the L combination. It frankly doesn't even look like a real word until you say it out loud. Wiser is another great one, W-I-S-E-R.
Oh, no, wiser.
Such a noble classic word, but it hasn't been the answer yet.
And wider.
Wider is available. And laxer, L-A-X-E-R.
Laxer. That is a great one to check the X if you need to. So if I am sitting there stuck on guess 5, I need to stop thinking about water and tiger and actively start thinking about a wiser, cuter hiker.
Exactly. Shifting your default guesses to these fresh words mathematically increases your chances of hitting the solution on the nose. You are finally fishing in a pond where the fish actually are.
I love that. But we aren't just here for the easy, obvious whims today. We're here for the full deep dive. And this list gets really weird toward the end.
It certainly does. This is what we call word nerd territory.
Yes.
The source material specifically mentions that these obscure options give you tactical flexibility, but they might completely stump the average everyday player.
Tactical flexibility is a very nice, polite way of saying words you might not realize are actually words until the little boxes miraculously turn green.
Caps, but they are valid dictionary words.
Let's look at the stumpers the source specifically warns us about. Japer. J-A-P-E-R.
A japer is someone who jokes or mocks. It's a very old-fashioned word, practically medieval, honestly, but it fits the grid.
And hewer. H-E-W-E-R, like a hewer of wood.
Exactly. Hewers of wood and drawers of water. It's a biblical literary term.
And toper. T-O-P-E-R.
A toper. Do you actually know this one?
I have absolutely zero idea. Is it someone who puts tops on things?
No, it's an archaic term for a heavy drinker, a drunkard.
I love that. Don't be such a toper. I am absolutely bringing that back into my vocabulary. But it's not just old words either. There's a whole category of nature and animal words on this unused list that sound completely made up.
The animal kingdom is surprisingly helpful in Wordle. For instance, liger.
L-I-G-E-R. It's pretty much my favorite animal, bred for its skills in magic.
A Napoleon Dynamite reference was inevitable here. But yes, liger, the lion and tiger hybrid, is a valid, fully unused Wordle guess.
What about elver? E-L-V-E-R.
An elver is a young eel.
Of course it is. Why call it a baby eel when you can call it an elver? And osier, O-S-I-E-R.
It's a specific type of willow tree used in basketry.
And eider, E-I-D-E-R. That's a duck rig.
Yes, a type of sea duck. The source lists all of these for a reason. If you have the ER and you are missing your vowels, eider is an absolute power play because it checks E and I and D all at once and clears the board.
That's smart. Then we have the technical words. The ones that sound like they belong in a geology or biology textbook. Ochre, O-C-H-E-R.
A pigment. An earthy red or yellow tone. Very useful if you urgently need to check a C and an H together.
Vomer, V-O-M-E-R.
It is a bone in the human skull, specifically the nasal bone.
Niter, N-I-T-E-R.
Potassium nitrate, also known as saltpeter.
See, this is exactly why I love this game so much. I'm sitting on the train learning anatomy and chemistry at 7 a.m. Dower, D-O-W-E-R.
Related to a widow's share of an estate.
Well, that's a cheerful one to start the day. Okay, now we have to talk about the list that genuinely made me laugh out loud when I read the source. The author calls these action or descriptive words, but some of them are just, they are unfortunate.
I'd have a very strong feeling I know exactly which one you were looking at.
Puker, P-U-K-E-R.
Yes, that would be the one.
Can you just imagine it is move 6, you are sweating, your 100-day streak is on the line, you type in P-U-K-E-R, and the boxes turn green.
It would certainly be a memorable victory. And technically speaking, it is a valid agent noun, one who pukes.
And it is on the list. It is completely unused, so it could literally be the winning word tomorrow morning.
It technically could, along with gaper, loper, and moper.
Moper. For when you were sad, you just lost your streak.
Exactly. And sayer, as in a soothsayer, and solar, someone who puts soles on the bottoms of shoes.
These are real deep cuts. But
No.
you know what? If I am desperate enough, I am guessing puker. I don't even care.
There's also a great subset of words that the source specifically highlights for our Scrabble fans out there. These are words that use high-value letters, which is fantastic for eliminating tricky, rare consonants.
Like hexer. H-E-X-E-R.
That acts as incredibly valuable real estate on the board.
Sizer. S-I-Z-E-R.
Perfect for checking the Z.
And zoner. Z-O-N-E-R.
Again, checking the Z. Keeping words like hesser or zoner or even ocher in your back pocket is the literal difference between staring blankly at the screen and feeling like an absolute genius because you found a way to test a rare letter.
It really fundamentally changes the way you look at the little digital keyboard. Instead of just seeing a jumble of letters, you start seeing these little tactical squads. Like, okay, I need to check Z, I'll send in the zoner.
That is exactly the tactical flexibility the source is talking about. You aren't just blindly guessing anymore. You are deploying resources strategically.
I love that. So let's wrap this up and bring it all together for you. We have covered a lot of vocabulary today.
We really have. And the main takeaway is simple but crucial. ER is a very common ending, but because it is common, it is highly dangerous. Strategy is key.
Right. First rule of the strategy, stop guessing ghosts. Water is gone, tiger is gone, baker is gone, super is gone, paper is gone.
Let them go. They serve their purpose in 2022.
Second rule, start guessing the fresh recruits. Buyer, diver, hiker, wiser.
And do not forget the comparatives. Bluer, cuter, freer.
And the third rule, when all else fails, get weird with it. Japer, foamer, liger.
And yes, even puker.
This list is honestly the ultimate cheat sheet. Whether you are doing a crossword puzzle or playing Scrabble or just trying to survive Wordle before your first cup of coffee, knowing these words actually matters.
It connects back to that core idea of being well-equipped. It isn't just about winning a phone game. It's about expanding your working vocabulary. It's about having the right tools available in your brain when you encounter a problem, in this case, a linguistic one.
But I do want to leave you with a thought, something to kind of chew on. We have given you this huge tactical list today. We have told you tiger is out and liger is officially in. But does knowing all this, does having the cheat sheet change the game for you?
That is the big philosophical question, isn't it? Is memorizing a burned list and a fresh list good, smart strategy, or does it somehow take the magic out of the spontaneous guess?
Right. Is it better to win the game with Wagner because you studied a tactical deep dive, or to lose with, well, I was going to say river, but river is actually burned too. Is it better to lose with water just because you followed your heart?
I think I would much rather win with Wagner, personally. I really like the win.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I want that green grid. I want that streak intact. So tomorrow morning when you see that ER locking in at the end of the word, I want you to be brave. I want you to look that grid right in the face and type in puker as your opening guess.
Please do not blame us if it is wrong.
But if it is right, you are very welcome. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Go save that streak.
Good luck out there.